Hey everybody, what's going on? Helllight here, bringing you another video from Grab the Lantern today. It's Tuesday and the patch notes have been posted, which means it's time for the top 5 changes of patch 12.1. Now, as always, I'll be going through the biggest changes in this week's patch and letting you guys know what you can be looking forward to in the coming weeks. As evidenced by the name, 12.1 is our first patch of the new season. This is going to be the initial patch that Ranked will be playable on by the time the season starts, and there are a couple of small changes in here that should shake things up at the season start. Obviously not as big as preseason, but still really exciting. So let's go ahead and talk about things, starting with our number 5 change, the Gangplank buffs. These aren't really that big in the grand scheme of things, but I think they matter because of how low cooldown Parlay is in general and how important it is to Gangplank's general playstyle. Just the ability for Gangplank to use this more often and not be punished as hard by mana costs, I think is a big deal, especially given that Gangplank no longer has the ability of just poking you out of lane with Grasp of the Undying. Now it feels like more of a tool that he has ready access to, as opposed to an ability that was too punishing to actually use for anything other than trying to get barrel combos to go off. So big fan of these changes, and I really think they'll put Gangplank in a better spot at the start of season 2022. Moving on down to the Rek'Sai nerfs here at number 4. Now, I really do feel like these are in the wrong direction as far as nerfs to Rek'Sai go. I was a big fan of the Emax build on Rek'Sai, primarily because of how it gives her better access to her tunnels, which I think is one of the most fun parts of Rek'Sai's gameplay, is being able to tunnel around the map, to create your tunnel network, and to be able to then move between locations and objectives at will. And that was the fun part of the Emax. I do get that Riot wanted to nerf her away from the sort of bursty damage that she's able to do with an Emax build and just how much damage Furious Bite can do, but I do feel like Tunnel is being nerfed as a result of this, and I think that that is a bit not the place I want to see it. I would much rather see an E nerf or a Furious Bite nerf on top of a Queen's Wrath buff in order to kind of incentivize a Qmax style as opposed to the Emax style without touching Tunnel at all. But this change is going to make it so that Rek'Sai's Emax build is going to be significantly weaker than it was before, so if you're playing Rek'Sai right now, that's not going to be nearly as strong. Moving on down here to our items, we have a couple of spicy changes here, starting with our Force of Nature buffs. Riot are basically finally trying to embrace Force of Nature as the go-to heavy magic resistance item. The 25% magic damage reduction is actually a really big deal. You just take 75% of all magic damage that you would ordinarily take is a huge buff to this item, on top of the fact that it already gives a lot of magic resistance and just really makes you immune to magic damage while you've got this, which is quite nice. The fact that stacks last 7 seconds as well is a very good change because that actually has the ability to last long enough for more magic damage to come through, for mages to get their cooldowns back up and to be able to keep hitting you, as opposed to 5 seconds where they maybe go through their whole rotation, wait for cooldowns, and then your stacks fall off and you're kind of sad. So big changes here on Force of Nature, really excited for this. Immortal Shieldbow is being nerfed on this patch as well. I actually had like an entire video I was going to make about this, and well, I kind of don't actually have to because Riot preempted me and they're nerfing it right away. I do think Shieldbow has been way too strong at keeping characters alive. It's too good and too efficient for what it does. By comparison, Sterix Gauge doesn't give a better shield than Immortal Shieldbow until you're being hit by 3 separate champions, where Shieldbow is just a consistently high value shield. It not only does that, but gives you a bunch of AD on pop. The fact that it gives attack damage and lifesteal in the same package means that it has a lot of the same traits that made the Bloodthirster a very unhealthy item as a rush item all the way back in Season 3 and Season 4. So really excited to see that Riot are finally nerfing this down. The attack damage going down is a big deal because the AD dropping also means that you're able to get less value off the 10% lifesteal of this item. So I do really like that this is a good change, I think. And the Lifeline Shield, of course, being tapped down by up to 150 at maximum level is another big deal because it just means that there's a little bit less shield strength. It means that Serpent's Fang doesn't feel as much of a mandatory item to counter Shieldbow. Big fan of these changes. We'll see if it's enough, but I do think that this is a good start, at least for Shieldbow nerfs. Finally, talking about Teleport here. Now, Teleport has been on the balance roller coaster for years now. It's alternated between being unplayably good or the best summoner spell in the game, second only to Flash, for quite some time, and a large percentage of this is because of how much influence it can have over the early stages of the game. It essentially gives any champion on your team a global ability to traverse the map and then be able to influence plays where ordinarily they wouldn't be able to. And while Riot like its ability to stabilize a losing lane, they don't like its ability to just kind of say you can't do anything bot lane because you're going to get 4-man teleganked and just die if you remotely try to play aggressively. So big fan of these changes here, which I think are actually quite, not necessarily an elegant way of dealing with it, but they do fix the problem. Teleport's cooldown is now 360 seconds at all levels up until it becomes unleashed, which happens after tower plating falls at 14 minutes. Once teleport transforms into unleashed teleport, it basically works like the teleport we know it on live today. Before that, however, it can only target allied towers, meaning that you're able to use it to get back to lane to stabilize in the laning phase of the game. But if you're trying to use it to actually make cross-map plays, you're going to have to wait till after 14 minutes for the teleport to be unleashed. Additionally, the unleashed teleport cooldown is down to 240 seconds, giving you more opportunities to actually make that play, as opposed to on live where a 420-second cooldown just completely neutered this summoner spell's ability to do much of anything in the early stages of the game at all. Big fan of these. I think they're going to really make teleport feel like a fun summoner spell again, and I think they also address a lot of the problems that it was causing for pro play, so really excited. Those are going to be it for me today, guys. Those are the top 5 changes of patch 12.1. Really excited for the beginning of the new season, and really excited for some of these changes on live as well, especially with Zeri potentially being on the horizon. So if you enjoyed the video today, go ahead and leave it a like. Make sure you guys let me know which changes you're most excited for down in the comment section below, and if you really enjoyed the video today, consider subscribing. I upload a video every Monday, Friday, and on patch days like today as well. Once again, thank you guys so very much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I'll talk to you all later.